Hello and welcome. Today I will be presenting to you on the subject of financial literacy in the North Carolina Randolph County school system. Let's do a brief overview of my presentation. I will be discussing the foundations of American history, civics, and economics course, teacher education, and education system funding. So, let's first discuss the foundations of American history, civics, and economics course. The course is divided into 3 core studies: American history, civics, and economics. The course curriculum is designed to educate equally on all subjects, and curriculum includes electronic programs which suggest better student knowledge retention, according to David Ask, a professor of economics at the University of Northern Colorado. Moving on to the education system. Currently, there are no specific education grants provided for teachers to take economics courses. Next, educators are required to be social studies certified teachers in order to teach the foundations of American history, civics, and economics course. And no economics courses are required to become an NC certified social studies teacher. North Carolina has one of the lowest education budgets in the United States, leaving the school system slightly underfunded, according to Wallet Hub. Adam McMahon, a financial writer at Wallet Hub, a comprehensive rating website, ranked North Carolina 33rd for U.S. in financial education. Randolph County is one of the poorest counties in North Carolina, with an average of $9,122 spent per pupil per year in the Randolph County school system, according to U.S. News. In comparison, the average spending for New York per pupil per year was $25,000 in the same year of 2018. With low economic success and financial literacy rates among citizens, it is pertinent that the school system in Randolph County provides adequate financial education to their students. So, financial confidence in the U.S. overall. Surveys have suggested that financial education is lacking across America, with many students leaving high school feeling unprepared, according to David Ask. Further, financial literacy rates are heavily impacted by both formal and informal education, such as their environment. This means that students with a higher socioeconomic status are more likely to get better financial literacy education than the same students in the same school systems who are of lower socioeconomic status, according to Bhattacharya and Gill of the Journal of Financial Counseling and Planning. And lastly, measuring financial education can be difficult, as tests are not always reflective of students' financial abilities. What students are performing on tests are not always going to be what they are comfortable performing in the real world, such as filing tax forms, or maybe even applying to get a credit card, according to Carly Urban, an associate professor of economics at Montana State University. So, all of this led me to my query. How effective is the foundations of American history, civics, and economics course in the Randolph County school system in North Carolina? So, you may be asking, why Randolph County? Primarily, there is no data recording the effectiveness of the foundations of American history, civics, and economics course publicly available in all of North Carolina, nevertheless, just Randolph County. Further, Randolph County provides an economically depressed community, limiting external financial education factors, such as students taking financial literacy courses outside of the school system. And lastly, the Randolph County school system allows students to be surveyed, making it a very hospitable environment to conduct a survey. Moving to my methodology. I decided to collect data via online quantitative survey. I implemented control variables to reduce external factors, such as asking students if they were in other school systems taking financial education courses, and if they were taking financial education courses on their own outside of school, such as YouTube videos. Further, students were asked to self-report their financial confidence in order to evaluate the effectiveness of Randolph County schools' required financial education. All of this was conducted online via anonymous Google surveying and was approved by the Southwestern Randolph High School IRB Board and the Randolph County School System School Board. Moving to my results. 232 students responded to the online survey. Nearly half of the students who responded had taken the course Foundations of American History, Civics, and Economics, and half had not, giving me a good grouping to compare both students who had and had not taken the course. In general, students in the Randolph County school system were less confident in their financial abilities than they were confident, as you will see in an upcoming graph. and the levels of confidence held no significant correlation to any single variable. For example, AP students had no significant increase in their financial confidence, although these students are generally good scholars. If you can see here, I asked students, how prepared do you feel for real-world economics encounters, such as filing taxes, making insurance claims, and applying for loans? According to the graph, more students responded to the 1 or 2 category than the 4 and 5. 1 represented no confidence to very little confidence, and 5 represented very high confidence. The graph is clearly skewed towards less confidence or no confidence, and many students were caught what we call fence riding, picking 3 because they did not want to say that they were more or less confident. Next, I asked what was the highest level of courses you were enrolled in or plan to take. As you can see, almost 50% of students said that they wanted to be enrolled in dual enrollment or already are. And even more so, many students selected honors or AP ambition, with only 6% being standard-only students, meaning that these students did have ambition and they want to try in school. Furthermore, proving this point, I asked the students what grades they typically earned. While 8.8% said prefer not to answer, many of the students were A students and B students, meaning that, once again, they were trying in school and they want to succeed in their curriculums. Next, here's one of the control variables I asked students, if they had any financial mentors. A financial mentor is anyone who may be helping the student learn about finances in or outside of school. So this could be a parent or a role model who is teaching them how to manage their finances. As you can see, many students did have financial mentors, and many of them only had 1, which means that they're more dependent on the Randolph County school system to provide them their education. As you can see, a very few amount had 3 or more financial mentors. So, 81% of students at Southwestern Randolph High School have never taken a financial elective course, so business or economics. This means that they're heavily dependent on the required curriculum to get their financial literacy. Furthermore, 45% reported that they had no financial mentors outside of school, leaving Randolph County one of the biggest gaps to fill in their education, increasing the importance that the required curriculum is going to support all students. And 41% reported that the Randolph County school system was their number one source of financial knowledge, greater stressing the importance of the issue. So, my analysis. The issue of financial literacy appears to be widespread across the student body of the Randolph County school system, regardless of course completion, foundations of American history, civics, and economics. Further, financial literacy, extracurriculars, and elective course enrollment is low in the Randolph County school system. And widespread lacking confidence suggests that either state curriculum or financial literacy needs revision, or social studies teachers need to be given specific grants to learn about economics, as currently many of them are left to their own finances to support these economic ambitions. And many may shy away from teaching the economics courses in the classroom, as they are less educated to do so, and primarily focus on the history side of the course. So, limitations to my survey. There is no financial literacy test distributed to students. This was once again relating back to Carly Urban's study at how confidence is more important than actually testing when it comes to financial education. This would be because students may be able to mark down what is correct on the test, but not really enact that in real life. Further, there was some student response error in my survey. For example, one of the categories where I asked what grade students made in the civics and economics course responded with higher amount of responses than the students who actually indicated that they took the course. Even though I do not believe that had a significant impact on my standings, it should still be noted. And finally, COVID-19 restrictions prevented me from traveling to different high schools, where I could have done more detailed survey proctoring to perhaps eliminate my student response error in the results. And moving on now to implications. First, as a result of my study, we can identify flaws in the financial education system to allow more effective courses to be implemented in the future. Perhaps future financial literacy courses in the Randolph County school system should consider dividing the course into multiple semesters for better understanding, such as a course solely dedicated to history and solely dedicated to economics. This would allow for the problem of social studies teachers not being educated in economics to be resolved with economics teachers educating on financial literacy. And the survey results can be used in the future to compare the newly passed NC financial education standards to the previous standards which I have analyzing what works best to the students in North Carolina and more specifically Randolph County. So, my conclusions. The Randolph County school system currently lacks student financial confidence and needs to be restructured in some way. If the students are responding that they do not feel confident, surely there is something that can be improved in the system. And I'd like to see that moving forward. The Randolph County school system needs to work with state and local leadership to ensure quality financial education for all students. So this could result in a change in either North Carolina curriculum or how we teach in the Randolph County school system to better fit the needs of the students. And finally, suggestions from my research of dividing the course into multiple aspects with designated teachers does now correspond to the new national ranking of the NC Financial Literacy Education according to Wallet Hub, what I've cited previously. Wallet Hub now cites that the education with the newly improved curriculum with designated courses is now ranked #1 in the U.S. compared to 33rd, which they were just months prior. As this is a touching subject to me living in Randolph County, I'm glad to see that we have made strides to improve our financial literacy system, and I'm proud to say that I'm hoping we're moving in the correct direction in the future. Thank you for your time.
Well done, nice job. So how did you determine which results generated by your research method were most important in informing your new understanding?
Okay. So I think what was most important through my research method was the specific implementation of quantitative analysis, specifically in the survey when I was asking students to rank 1 through 5 how confident they were in their abilities they learned for, say, filing taxes or opening a bank account. I think that had the most significant impact on my results because it straight up told me how the students were feeling confidence-wise. And since many of the other researchers like Carly Urban had stated that confidence is directly related to how much the students know, I felt like that had the most impact on how students were learning and how effectively they were retaining knowledge, because even though someone might be able to mark something on a test correctly, they might not be able to go out and do it in practice. So I believe that that was the most important.
Thank you.
What are the real-world implications or consequences related to your findings?
Okay. Well, my findings, it means that the Randolph County school system does need to change something from the Foundations of Civics and Economics course, and the newly released standards is doing that. And we can see that through the Wallet Hub survey and how they've now placed North Carolina financial literacy as #1 in the U.S. I feel like my findings are going to contribute to future research where we can see what we were doing wrong in the past and now what is working, and we can even synthesize those two ideas together to make an even better course in the future. So maybe taking the online components from previous curriculum and combining it with what we have now to make it even better for the students. Even though it is ranked #1, something can always be better, right? So I'm hoping to see that.
And think back to the initial curiosity that sparked your inquiry. What other curiosities do you have, and how has this process prepared you to explore them?
So what initially sparked my inquiry was to do something related with economics. And while that was a little bit difficult with some of the Randolph County school system rules about income and disclosure of students, I was really excited to pursue something that might have an impact on students long after their high school career. I think that's going to relate to my future research, particularly with my new major of choice, engineering, as I'm going to be able to learn how to take something in a step-by-step process like I have with this paper in a slow, methodical way to create something that's going to benefit more people in the future. Maybe not this time with analytics and surveys, but perhaps with gears and electronics. So,
All right.
thank you.
Good job.
All right.